show for you tonight. Brandon Schaub just crashed out on his co-host Bryan Callen over Bryan's UFC takes. We're going to get into that, and more importantly, what it means to be a casual, what it means to be a hardcore, and what people's perception of fighters means to the fighters themselves. We're going to get into all that. I have a unique spin on the situation that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. And, there's some other stuff going on. Conor McGregor news. We got Tommy Gunn making a big statement at the last UFC that just happened. Red Hawk Academy's all the way up, guys. We got some Sean Strickland potential news incoming, man. We got a lot to talk about. Josh Hokett, man, it's going to be a good show tonight, guys. My name is King David MMA. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, a professional MMA champion. I coach at Extreme Couture. And let me hop onto the chat real quick. Let me pull this up for you guys. All right, I got this link. I'm going to drop a link in the chat. Guys, if you're in Vegas, listen, I got something for you. I got a sponsor. Okay, it's a dispensary. It's called The Spot. Now, if you pull up with $100, you get $100 worth of product, and they give you $35 back. You keep $35 in your pocket, you get whatever you need: broccoli, cabbage, lettuce, all the greens. They got stuff that you can eat and makes you feel funny. You know what I mean? They have what you need. It's called The Spot. You spend a G, you get $350 back. You spend $100, you get $35 back. Keep it in your pocket, man. And then if you spend over 75, you spin a wheel and you get more free shit, man. It's crazy. It's called The Spot, and you can use it. This discount, just tell them you know King David MMA. Pull up on him in Vegas. It's right across from the Palms Place Tower at the Palms. If you're across the street from the Palms Place Tower and you just turn around, it's called The Spot. It's right there. You're in their parking lot. So pull up on them, grab some shrubbery, enjoy, get your head right, okay? It's called The Spot, and you will not only get what you want, but you will also get some money to keep in your pocket. So shout out to them. They got crazy dudes. Like they got stuff like, I don't even want to say the certain weights, but imagine it was not a dime, but like if we're talking money, like a quarter of something. So 4 of them would make an ounce, right? You know what I mean? And let's say it's $20,000 each, right? And then you get a whole last ounce, and then you get to spin the wheel, and you get money back. Like it's a whole thing. It's a whole last thing. Also, man, make sure you check out Studio Millions. If you got a coach, dude, send your coach to Studio Millions. The only thing you got to do in life is send your coach to Studio. I'm telling you guys, I'm not trying to hype it up, but like, there's a money printer that your coach is sitting on, and when you show them Studio Millions and you turn the money printer on for them, they're going to love you, bro. It's absolutely insane. Let me read the chat real quick. Also, man, shout out to Fight Circus, home of the Freak Show fights. Dude, I love Fight Circus, man. I had a lot of fun performing there, right? Shout out to Fight Circus. Hit them up on Instagram. Tell them you know King David MMA. The Taste of Thickness. We are... Well, I don't know what that means, bro. I don't know if you're trying to get me to incriminate myself by reading something wild out loud. They got... Kobe Covington got caught up calling Justin Gaethje something else on Ariel Helwani show, and Ariel's like, what do you mean by that? What does that last name mean? What does that mispronunciation of Gaethje mean? And Kobe did not explain to Ariel what it means, but Ariel clearly knows what it means, but he's trying to get him to say it. So anyways, Kobe, like the Matrix, dodged a fucking bullet on that one. Let's go. Real ones are live. Arpon the Dawn in the chat. Man, guys, I had some problems in the past with my thumbnails. Arpon has been fucking helping me. If you need thumbnails, hit him up. He's not the cheapest dude out there. But if you want to just skip the bullshit instead of going back and forth over some dude with $5, right? Like, oh, $5 and I'm going to get... No, dude, it's not worth it. It wastes time. Go to Arpon. He'll get you right real quick. Real fucking quick. I'm going to, in a couple days and get this deal, want to spin the spinner wheel for the freebie. Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? Go to the spot and spin the fucking freebie wheel. I don't know what that means either. I don't know what that means either, bro. But if you're trying to get me caught up in some political shit, I'm super paranoid about it. So I don't say a lot of words on here. Cause I respect the platform that I'm on. Cause they give me the ability to go live. And if they're like, hey man, don't say anything wild, I don't say anything. So if I don't know what's but no, I never heard of that, dog. I never heard of that. I never heard of that, bro. Tell me what it is. Tell me how you really feel. Some of y'all ain't got a deal. I don't even really know the deal. So, anyways, guys, yeah, Brendan Schaub crashed out on Bryan Callen over his UFC takes, specifically saying that Kamaru Usman is essentially in the running in the top 5, which Kamaru Usman is in the running in the top 5. And Brendan freaked the fuck out. He didn't like it. Here's the crazy part, man. I fucking love Brandon Schaub. Like that's the most unpopular opinion out right now, apparently. But I don't see how everybody is so mad at the guy all the time. So I'm watching Brandon Schaub. I'm like, dude, at least he's like, I disagree with him about Kamaru. I understand what he's saying, but I'm like, dude, at least he's speaking his truth. You know what I mean? And he went in on Bryan, man. He went in on Bryan because Bryan was acting like Kamaru still got it. And Brendan Schaub's like, bro, maybe like 5 or 10 years ago or something, maybe he had it, which he clearly had it. Like, he's like, he had it, but maybe he doesn't have it now. So he's like, you could still be one of the greats and you could be washed. And he's not saying Kamaru's washed, but he's essentially saying that Kamaru's never going to get near the belt again. And Bryan Callen was more implying that Kamaru versus Islam Makhachev would be a good fight, which I agree with. I think that's a potentially winnable fight for Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman just went 5 rounds with DDP, who's a much bigger athlete with an awkward style. He was landing those fucking knees to his face, and Kamaru stayed in there, and then Kamaru was getting at him in the 5th. Some people say Kamaru Usman won the 5th round. Like, dude, Kamaru Usman could definitely fight Islam Makhachev. He could, I don't see the problem with that take at all. Brendan Schaub had a big problem. Brendan Schaub had a big ass problem over that. And then when Bryan Callen said, bro, Kamaru was doing well in the later stage of the fight where he fought Chimaev, Brendan's like, dude, that was 3 years ago, bro. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And in my head, I'm like, maybe he's got stem cells and his knees are better than they were 3 years ago. He could be able to perform, and he took that fight on short notice. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I think Kamaru's still in title contention. I know that that's a fucking forbidden statement, apparently. But, yeah, man, shout out to Kamaru Usman. I don't know the dude, but I think that dude is capable of doing a lot of work. I believe they probably wouldn't put him in with Islam Makhachev, and not for the reason that he wouldn't be able to compete. I think it is because he could compete, and they probably don't want to see Kamaru win the belt again at 170 pounds, being that he probably doesn't have the longest life expectancy for his career moving forward. They probably don't want to put the belt on him. They're probably happy that it's on Islam right now. If it ends up on Ian Gary, they're probably happy with that too. But either way, right now, they got kind of more of a younger blood in there. So they're probably letting these people of this generation have their run, and they're probably using Kamaru as more of a final boss before you get to fight for the belt type thing. Like, hey, DDP, if you don't beat Kamaru, you're not getting back a title shot. So DDP beat Usman, and now DDP is back in the running for a title shot, right? I think that's more of the role that they see him as. Not that he can't compete, but they probably just don't. They're not looking for that. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, okay, cool. Schaub chilled out a little bit, right? Bro, hey, 10-7 MMA, fuck you, bro. Okay? Fuck you, dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm still running it up, bro. And I'm older than all these motherfuckers, right? But yeah, I think that's kind of actually how they feel. That's kind of how they're looking at it, is like, hey man, these are aged properties. We're trying to get into some newer builds around here. And I thought things were cooling out with the fighter and the kid, and then Brendan Schaub crashed out on him again because Bryan Callen was like, dude, I heard Arman could like potentially compete in the Olympics if he were just to focus solely on wrestling. He's got a gold medal Olympic wrestling coach, and the people in his circle are saying that he's got Olympic level wrestling, which they may have seen him exhibit in the gym against against Olympic wrestlers, right? Schaub freaked out. Telling anybody that thinks that can suck my dick. He was popping off, man. Shout out to Brendan Schaub, dude. I was highly entertained by the episode. So if you guys haven't seen that, go back and watch that episode. It was the one that popped out today, right? That was fucking. I like it. And I only listen to the MMA shit on there. I just skip through the other shit. Not that I'm whatever. I just don't know about sports. I don't know about World Cup. I don't know about any of that shit. So when they start talking World Cup or some shit, I'm out. Boom. So the cool part about the fighter and the kid, though, like you can tap on the bottom on the screen, which if anybody can do that on these videos, do that for me, or help me help you help us, where you can cut to different segments. So I cut to the MMA segments on their videos. But yeah, man, that shit was entertaining as fuck today. So shout out to Brendan Schaub, man, holding it fucking down, dude. Anyways, yeah, Brendan, if you see this, man, I fucking do some crazy ass thumbnails and titles, bro. But I actually love the show, dude. Love the show, man. Big fan of the pod, multiple pods. And that motherfucker's going like 5 days a week. I know what that takes because I go 6 days a week currently. It's a lot. You know what I mean? Kobe just smoked him, and Kobe's no Olympian. Yeah, I know. Right. But like Bryan Callen may have heard from someone in Arman's camp, oh, he's doing well with the Olympic wrestlers. If he focused on wrestling, he could be an Olympian. Right? That doesn't mean that, and to be fair, he's smaller than Kobe. He's fought at a lower weight class in MMA than Kobe has. Let's put it that way. And he scored on Kobe. And Kobe was a, two-time All-American. Not that Kobe's in his prime physical condition right now, but, you know, I'm sure Arman goes well with good wrestlers in the room, and then somebody might extrapolate that out if he focused solely on that he could have, maybe they said he could have went to the Olympics. He's got that much athleticism. And then Bryan heard it from somebody else who said, oh man, he could go, not he could have gone. Like if he started when he was 4 years old and focused on wrestling instead of MMA, he could have been an Olympian. He's that athletic. He's that talented. That's a different statement than he could go to the Olympics right now. So anyways, Brendan Schaub popped off on Bryan Callen. That take is a little bit more accurate of a take, I believe. And then he popped off because of the, what's it called? Who's going? Sean Brady versus Jordan Burroughs. Now they said that's like a white belt versus a black belt. You know, I would say that's like a black belt world champion against like a purple belt or something. You know what I mean? Or like a blue belt or whatever, right? Like, you know, I'm not saying the dude's a white belt, right? But yeah, I get what they mean by that. So yeah, that was an entertaining show today, guys. But it got me thinking, right? This is the point of why I brought all this up. Is because what are we actually judging fighters by? Are we judging fighters by numbers on a paper, or are we judging them by the actual performances right in front of our eyes? Like, did Usman perform like he's going to be the 185-pound champion soon? No. Did he perform like he could compete for 5 rounds with a guy who is bigger and more active than him? Yes. Is DDP a world-class competitor? Yes. He's a former world champion at 185 pounds. He's a very big 185er, and he's got a win over the current champ. So he's very relevant. So based on that performance, I don't see why Usman couldn't go back to 170 and perform well against people in the top 3 at welterweight when he just went the distance with someone in the top 3 at middleweight. Is that a shocking statement, right? But here's the thing. I think people are judging people based on different. In comparison to Usman's prime, Usman may not be as good as his prime, but that doesn't mean that he still can't compete at a certain level, right? His couple of years past his prime might be better than some guys in their prime, right? Like, just as an example, let's take a bench press. There's guys at my gym that are 25 years old, and their max bench is, let's say, 185 pounds. Now, let's say I'm 45 years old, and I'm repping that. Like, ding, 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 right? That doesn't mean that I'm the strongest I've ever been right now. I'm just stronger than this motherfucker by a lot. And I think that's what's happening with some of these quote unquote older fighters is people are seeing a number on a paper. That's why my take on McGregor was that he's going to outperform Max Holloway because he's got the higher ceiling. So even if he's fallen a little lower than his ceiling, he's still the better fighter. And I know that's controversial, especially after a loss, but I stand on that because what stopped Conor wasn't necessarily, and I know people go, he got injured because he tore his ACL when he was 26 too. So he tore his ACL against Max now, and he tore his ACL against Max. I believe what actually fucked his ACL in this fight was, one, the compensation from the years off with the other leg being injured. When you have a leg injury, sometimes it fucks your gait up, right? Right? And then you gotta practice getting it back. And so your body starts to build imbalances. That combined with the steroids, which he's admitted he's used, so I'm not calling him a fucking steroid cheat or anything. I'm just saying the dude used steroids outside of competition. It's very well documented that he said that. He did everything, quote unquote, by the law, which is another thing. We got to start saying by the law. Because when people say legally and illegally, was it legal or illegal? Was it legal? He did it legally. We want people to come in this country legally. Like, what am I saying? Am I saying legally or illegally or legally? Politicians, start saying by the law. Everybody start saying by the law. When you mean legal, say by the law. When you mean illegal, you can say illegal. But it'll clear it up for a lot of people because it sounds weird when you have to enunciate super. We want people in this country legally, right? And then you're calling them illegal. So it sounds too similar. Start saying by the law. Anyways, that's a rant for another time. So Kobe just spoke him, and Kobe's no Olympian. It's easy. I'll show you how to do that. I was trying to tell people that I played sports my whole life. Tore my Achilles. Granted, 100 pounds still can't move nearly the way I used to. You overcompensate like a motherfucker. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. So you can have a whole kinds of imbalances. So I believe that Conor did the juice, which also creates another form of imbalance. So there's the gait imbalance from favoring one side, and then there is the strength of your muscle, your muscular strength to your tendon strength ratio. And because your tendons don't get the same blood flow and all kinds of shit as your muscles, right, that they don't strengthen at the same rate that your muscles do. So they're not used to the increased force that your muscles can generate from steroids. Combine that with a fucked up imbalance from a misaligned gait for however many years. And now we're talking, dude, and the other thing too, man, the canvas in there is different. Okay, so the canvas, not only is it very rough, but there's padding under the canvas. So if you land in a certain way, I could see one's foot like stuck for half a second, like in the give of the padding a little bit, while the body's still in motion. I was grappling a dude who wrestled in Arizona. This was several years ago. And this is one of the most horrific injuries I've seen. So if you're sensitive, this story's going to not be good for you to listen to. So anyways, he and I were wrestling, and he wrestled in Arizona in college. And I hadn't really wrestled. I wrestled in like 8th grade for like 6 weeks or whatever. And I just was a strong, athletic motherfucker. And I had done some quote unquote MMA wrestling. So while this dude was the better technical and tactical wrestler than me, and he could take me down all the shit, right? Like, I'm not saying he couldn't take me down. In fact, like, I remember one time I went to guillotine him, and he fucking picked me up, my feet. He flared my feet up in the air. I was like, oh shit, okay, well, that's one form of a guillotine defense. So then he and I are grappling one time. We're starting on the feet standing, and I go to like pancake him, and he didn't want to give up the takedown so bad. He had wrestling shoes on, and his foot was in the foam of the mat, like in the padding. And because the jiu-jitsu mats that we were using had a higher level of like foaminess, his foot was deeper into the mat than it would be on a wrestling mat. Dude, I rotated his whole fucking body. His leg went one way and his fucking body went the other. And his foot, instead of being like this, his foot was hanging down off his leg. Like, fucked off. And he's like screaming. And I'm like, what the fuck do we do? And we're all like, what the fuck? And he's like holding his leg in the air and his foot's dangling off. And we're like, what the? And then he's like, can somebody please call an ambulance? And we're like, yeah, boom. And so somebody hops on the phone, calls him an ambulance. And then the ambulance got there, right? They pull up, they put him on a stretcher. And as the paramedics are wheeling him out of the building, he looks over, he goes, hey, Dave. I go, what's up? He goes, still wasn't two. And he was still insistent that I didn't take him down. That's how competitive this motherfucker was. Freddie Corona, man. Shout out to Freddie. Freddie helped me with my wrestling so fucking much, man. And his competitive nature, dude, that was still one of the most shocking memories to me, was that. He was like, no takedown. No, to this day, I'm talking decade something later. He's like, it wasn't a takedown, bro. It wasn't, dog, you've never taken me down. Like, that's how he gets it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dog, I don't really remember takedown or not a takedown, but like, I appreciate the enthusiasm, my guy. It's inspirational. So, yeah, man. Anyway, I believe Conor went for the kick, landed. His body kept going. His foot was stuck just enough to fucking rip that. And if your tendons are overstressed from your muscles being too strong, or your tendons haven't had the time to catch up, plus the imbalance, that's how right. So anyways, so Conor, if you made the case that Conor's cooked because he's injury prone and his body is not able to get through a training camp, that's one case. But in terms of like his martial arts ability, if there were a case where he could get through a fight, I believe he's the better martial artist, despite the fact that he's the older fighter, because his ceiling is higher. So how are we judging fighters moving forward, right? Is it arbitrary shit on paper? Like, oh, this guy's from Dagestan, so he can wrestle. Or, who's the dude? He's a 205er, and people think he can wrestle because he's Dagestani, but he's really like a kickboxer or something. Is that Ankalaev? I know there's a couple guys like that in the UFC that are like Russian dudes. And people assume they can wrestle, and they're actually strikers. And so, so-and-so's cooked against Ankalaev's wrestling, bro. And I'm not saying Ankalaev can't wrestle. I'm just saying there's a couple guys in the UFC that people are going by like their last name or by some country they're from to assume their skill set, when the skill set is presented right in front of you. I think this happens a lot, right? So the age is probably the biggest one, where people count people out because of their age. Like, a lot of people could have made the case that Gaethje was cooked because of his age. And then he went and fucking clapped Ilia Toporia's cheeks. Pause. We're about to see John Pork this week. He's a Dagestani, but a world champion Muay Thai guy. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Oh, shit, better watch out for John Pork's wrestling, bro. John Pork's wrestling, dog. He's from Dagestan, bro. And I'm sure being in that environment, he's probably got more exposure to wrestling than somebody who's from fucking Detroit, Michigan, or wherever, or maybe Detroit, Michigan, they got wrestling. I don't know. Where's a good place that doesn't have wrestling? Vegas isn't a super wrestling city, you know? So you might be from fucking Malibu, California, and don't have as much exposure to wrestling as someone from Dagestan, but that doesn't mean that the dude wrestled all the time in Dagestan. His friends might have, you know? I've never smoked weed in my life. I have a fucking dispensary sponsor. I rock with CBD. I put it on my hands. You know what I mean? Just because you're adjacent doesn't mean that you got the thing. Like, all you guys, every single person on this chat can outsmoke me. I've never smoked in my life. Ever. Fun fact, right? If Conor comes back, he will be a plus 10 million underdog and win. Exactly, bro. Fucking bet that. Dude, I'm at Extreme Couture, right? With some of the dudes that you met when you pulled up, right? And we're all talking about these fights. And some of these guys are from Hawaii. So they're all like, oh, bro, hey, King David, cuz, come over here. You still like to pick Conor, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, man, how that fucker look now, cuz? You know what I'm saying? And I told you, Max gonna smoke him, cuz. And I'm like, bro, first of all, Conor had Max on the back foot, backing up in the first exchange. Okay, so let's just put that. So off the rip, Max was already running from Conor. Okay, so they're like, I will literally bet against Conor in his next fight if you want to bet me. And I'm like, okay, cool, I will take that bet. They're like, you'll bet on Conor. I'm like, I will bet on Conor. And then because they didn't specify, I go, especially when Conor's next fight is Michael Chandler. Oh, cuz I don't want that bet. Oh, so you think Conor can beat Michael Chandler? So he's not quite as cooked as you were. Okay, because I was confused because I thought you said he was cooked. But now you were going to bet me on, hey, Conor's going to lose his next fight. But now when it's Michael Chandler, oh, you don't want to bet anymore. You get what I'm saying? So, I was kind of fucking around with the boys a little bit on that one. And I had a couple people who said they will bet on Conor, that will bet against Conor even if he fights Michael Chandler. I'm like, dog. All right, England, no wrestling. Yeah, so something's going on in England because they seem to have crisp striking over there, but yeah, they traditionally do not have much wrestling. So all the British boys that come over from, and not just, I mean, all the European dudes. Most of the European guys have more advanced striking than the American guys, but most of the American guys have better wrestling than the European countries. And now somebody's gonna come in here. Well, actually, such and such countries in Europe, and they fucking won this many gold. I get it, dog. I'm just saying these are broad generalizations. But when you get a dude from England, France, Italy, Spain, a lot of these countries, they got, especially for some reason in England, they seem to just fucking strike a lot out there. I don't know what it is, man. But you would think that we would have some fucking epic strikers coming out of America like that too. But for whatever reason, the British boys seem to fucking be crispy with it. Interesting. I wonder why. So I'm on this wave about Red Hawk Academy. Because Red Hawk Academy they don't have the biggest gym on the planet, but they got Sugar Sean O'Malley, they got Tommy McMillan, and they got Ezra Elliott. And to me, those are three of the top guys in the UFC, whether or not anybody believes that, Tommy's going to go to the top or Ezra's going to go to the top. But if you just, I believe Ezra submitted an ADCC trials winner in competition, in like a jiu-jitsu competition. And he's a wrestler. And like 4 or 5 years ago, I think he was a white belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's just recently learned jiu-jitsu, like some crazy shit like that. Like he's advanced at a high level very quickly. So to me, that means like, oh, the dude's got a gift for picking things up. And the gift is probably like relentless work ethic and obsession with details. That's probably the gift. But anyway, okay, people don't want to hear that part. They want to hear the fucking talent and the gift. But the gift usually, when you get down to it, is like, oh, that guy's just more obsessed than everybody else, which is a fucking whole lifestyle in itself. And so why is the Red Hawk Academy got less students than other gyms, but has more higher level students than other gyms? Like out of the smaller fight team, they've got more top stars. And so that's why I'm curious about England, because there's a book called The Talent Code. It talks about how certain places are hotspots. And there's like a certain place in South America that has more English speakers than any other county in South America. And people are like, why do all the fucking fluent English speakers come out of here? And they're like looking in the school system. What are they teaching them differently? What's the curriculum? Why is it this? Right. And then it turned out that in that county that they had MTV. And because that was the county that had MTV, all the kids growing up wanted to watch MTV, but they would watch it with subtitles. So they would learn English from watching MTV with subtitles on, right? So that made that specific county an outlier amongst, there's nothing different about the population. And so there's these things that happen in, let's call them talent hotspots, where something is different. And sometimes it's only one different thing. And if you can identify that one different thing, and in this case, Red Hawk Academy, it might be the fucking coach. It might be Tim Welsh, which probably is. Let's keep it real. It's probably got a lot to, like, it's probably him. So, and then he's probably very good at identifying talent and then going like, oh, these guys have work. And by talent, I mean like dedicated guys. And then, oh, these guys are putting the work. I'm going to put work into them. It could be, this is me fucking speculating. It could be him going, I'd rather invest my time into a small few guys and get them fucking pristine excellent, right? And then I have like, out of the guys I personally coach, a 100% fucking superstar ratio versus, somewhere else, let's say, I don't know, some fucking huge gym in Brazil where there's like 400 fucking dudes on the mat and it's like cream rises to the top. You know what I mean? And that's a different way of going about it, right? But then like, so when I'm asking why does England, which has a smaller population than America, seem to have more strikers come out of England than America has strikers, there's something probably different. And I know that England, this is the other thing about England. Like England is currently essentially the boxing capital of the world. So maybe people just really fuck with it over there. And then it could be something like, hey, in England, because this is not real. I'm just fucking thinking out loud. England banned guns. So now people are more inclined to street fight. And because there's more street fights, more guys sign up at the boxing gym. And because they have a smaller population, but they have more people in boxing gyms, there's more strikers coming. It could be like, you know what I'm saying? So that type of shit fascinates me. Trying to get to the actual, let's call it like trigger point of what is making the difference between X population and Y population and the performances that happen when it seems that everything else is the fucking exact same. So amongst two similar populations, same genetic makeup, same fucking all everything. Why this one city got fucking 98 Olympic tennis players and the cities surrounding it with bigger populations have fucking a total of 1? What's different about this little section? Oh, well, that section has a coach and he has everyone practice in slow motion. Oh, really? What do you mean? They practice fucking getting a perfect swing in slow motion. And once they've perfected it in ultra slow motion, like so slow that you wouldn't really want to practice it because it's that boring, he gets them perfect. And then he adds speed and intensity to the perfect technique. Oh shit. So one coach is responsible for 98 Olympians coming out of one or whatever, right? Why does Dagestan have more Olympians than any other fucking or whatever? You know, and so like there's these things that you can identify in these places, and if you can identify them and implement them into your life, whatever the fuck skill you want to develop, there's someone out there that's got like a fucking cheat code, and all you need to do is get the fucking cheat code, right? So anyways, let me read the chat, man. We got a thumbs up from Arp on the Don. Real ones. Let's hit the like button. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, man. I enjoy it, man. When I see the likes going up, when I see the shares and all that, when I go on my metrics and my fucking dashboard, dude, I get so excited for one new subscriber, guys. If you only knew. And so, hey, if you've subscribed to the channel, thank you. I appreciate you. Yes, you specifically. All you motherfuckers. Thank you. Thank you. And dude, yeah. I got a new subscriber today. It's fucking epic. But the homie, Tommy needs to change his nickname to Night Stalker. He looks just like, oh, dude. So when I was a kid, I was growing up. This is how fucking old I am. You know, something old. I still got it though. But yeah, so I was living in Petaluma, and I was like 4 years old, and the Night Stalker was out there doing whatever the fuck he was doing. And, you know, I remember my father, who was a biker, let's put it that way. And he also had a van. And in the van, on his, you would flip the fucking sunblock down, the visor. And he had like a wanted picture of that dude. And I didn't like to look at that guy. I was like, fuck, dude. I was like 4. I was like, I don't want to fucking think about that shit. Pops was looking for him. You know what I'm saying? I was a vigilante. Yeah. So, yeah, man, that's my reference to that, my memory about that. Bizarre enough. 10-7 MMA says, it's a new gym in Arizona, MMA lab, and fight ready. Red Hawk is doing big things, though. Yeah, man. So, like, my question is, what's going on with the other gyms? Like, why is Red Hawk fucking from my perspective, seems to be surpassing other gyms? It's just what you're raised around. We have a high school wrestling culture, and that leads directly to our MMA. Caucasus Mountains Wrestling, Thailand, Muay Thai, etc. Yeah, right. So then, like, that I agree with. And then in addition to that, let's say that there's some small town in fucking Moldova, right, that has more Muay Thai champions than any other city on the planet per capita or something. And it's like, what the fuck's going on over there? And why doesn't Thailand have the most Thai champions per capita when it's actually this fucking city in Moldova? And that doesn't even exist. I'm just making it up. But like, there's some weird shit like that. The sandbag MMA. I'm gonna be in Germany and I'm gonna try to see how MMA is different there than XC, bro. Sprechen Sie Deutsch, bro? What you doing in Germany, bro? What you doing in Germany, bro? You gonna get that Wiener Schnitzel? Pause, dog. Pause, bro. Don't be out there enjoying the glizzies, my guy. Okay. There's a bunch of real ones in here about how shout out them. Yeah, man. Arpon, bro. See, man, that's why Arpon's the mod, man. He's, you know what I'm saying? He got the fucking right attitude. 10-7 MMA. True. Per capita, NFL players are most likely to be Samoan. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And then, like, what if there's one town in Samoa that produces like 5 times the NFL players as any other town? And that's where actually 80% of it's not just Samoa, it's actually this one city or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? I get fascinated by that shit. Anyways, that's a fucking tangent. Also, I watched a pod with Sugar Sean O'Malley, and he is devastated about the Conor fight. Dude, I like that. I like seeing fighters support other fighters, man. And Dominic Cruz, I watched some of his pod, and he was kind of psychologically evaluating Conor, but it seemed like Dominic Cruz was evaluating Conor through Dominic's frame, because Dominic is like, hey, man, when I saw Conor walk out, I was thinking, man, he's not as confident as, because when he was watching the pre-fight, he was like, Conor's pretending to be confident. And he's like, I know he's not confident. That's his ego talking, because I had ACL tears. And I'm like, dog, I believe what Dominic Cruz is saying to be true in Dominic's mind, but just because Dominic processed it a certain way doesn't mean Conor's processing it the same way, right? So I believe that Dominic Cruz felt a certain way walking back out, but that doesn't mean that Conor felt the same way. And is it more likely that Dominic Cruz has some insight as to what Conor may have felt? Right? Yeah, because they both have had similar injuries. But that's not necessarily what he had to have been thinking. So I thought it was interesting. I rock with Dominic Cruz super hard. I think he is the best fight analyst out. So whenever I can get his like play-by-play on a fight, I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking, he knows the sport. So success leaves clues, right? In Dominic's case, Dominic fucking clearly studied the sport. And that's what made him the fucking, greatest bantamweight of all time. 10-7 says, it's the water. Yeah, bro. Okay, yeah. Speaking of which, Felony Charles Bennett. First of all, free Felony. Okay, Felony, the white man got him. He's locked up right now. All right. But free Felony, okay? We got to get Felony out. Maybe we'll do a GoFundMe or something, get him out. But he also agrees that the water is very important, because he doesn't drink water because he says it makes the frogs gay. And now, while some people feel that was a dangerous conspiracy theory on the internet, it turned out to be true, right? So shit. And maybe Mountain Dew is the way, right? The sandbag MMA. I think it's a combination of cultural values and the support shown for that sport. Yeah, man. Yeah, I feel that. Tycoon Troy, because we're psychologically evaluate his own destiny. Oh, shit. Bro, yeah, I think what happened with Dom was that Dom had a lot of potential turmoil inside his own head about a lot of subjects. And I feel that the psychological work that he's done, the internal stuff he's done, has really helped him. And he feels that that's kind of what's popping off with other people as well. Our Pondadon says, free Felony. Yeah, man. All right, the sandbag MMA. Bro, okay, so first of all, to my knowledge, Felony didn't do anything. Okay? Now, what Whitey might allege that Felony did was, maybe they allege that Felony was on probation and may or may not have been driving without a license or on a suspended license and got pulled over, allegedly. Probably completely untrue. You know what I mean? And so, while I believe Felony probably didn't do anything, because I'm not going to sit here and say he did something, especially publicly for one, right? But like, that would be wild. I'm just saying, allegedly, that's probably what they may have believed him to have done. Incorrectly, of course. And I'm sure that will be figured out in court at some point. But yeah, man. So shout out to Felony, man. We hope we get free Felony soon, man. I don't know all the details of it, actually. I just know that some people are working on getting his bail together right now. So hopefully we get an update in the near future and Felony's back on the streets enjoying freedom and fresh air. Anyways, guys, I love you. Thank you for pulling up on the chat. Whenever you guys are in the chat, it's so much more fucking fun, man. Sometimes I'm on these things. Dude, I go live, and if I get on here at a time where nobody else is on here, I'm talking to my motherfucking self. So when you guys are on here, it's fucking epic, because then we can bounce ideas off each other. I'm looking to connect. So make sure you're subscribed if you haven't subscribed already, and have notifications on, because I go live at random ass times. Bang the bell and set it to all notifications, because no telling what I might do next. I believe my girlfriend just cooked me some chicken, so I'm going to pop out there, eat that, and then, I'm going to go handle some business, guys.